Walsh reminding his players they want to go 5-1, stay with the Rams in the West. We're underway. It spins down at the 7-yard line. DeBose, the former Nebraska star, at the 20, on his feet to the 25. Knocked out of bounds by Sam Grady and Tyrone Braxton. An 18-yard return. Here come the 49ers and Joe Montana, Tom Rathman, and Roger Craig. The Husker back attack. Two former Nebraska Cornhuskers, Craig and Rathman. Wilson and the brilliant Jerry Rice on the outside. Ron Heller for the injured John Frank at tight end. Steve Wallace, Jesse Stopolo, Randy Cross, the veteran at center. Guy McIntyre and Harris Barton, the front five. Rice to the left. Wilson also on that side. Montana throws on first down. Dumps it off to Rathman. And the fullback gains 3 in the grasp of Simon Fletcher, number 73. It'll be second down and 7. Defensively for the Broncos, Walt Boyer for the injured Freddie Gilbert. Greg Kraken on the nose. Andre Townsend. The linebackers led by Carl Mecklenburg, number 77. Fletcher, Dennison, and Ryan completing that core. On the corners, Mark Haynes and Jeremiah Castile, with Randy Robbins for the injured Dennis Smith and Mike Harden at safety. Second and 7. Montana to Rathman again. And Castile comes up from the corner to make the hit at the 32-yard line. It'll be shy of a first down by 3.
Dick, one of the things you do not want to do in this game is tackle Rathman high. You'll have a headache that will last for hours. He is a bull of a back. Great power, is a fine blocker. He's one of the main reasons that this San Francisco rushing attack has been so effective so far in 1988.
A terrific compliment to Roger Craig, number 33, who leads the league in catches with 35 and is the leading rusher for the 49ers. But Montana, thinking that Denver would key on Craig, has gone to Rathman his first 2 passes. This one over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Mike Wilson on that left side. Wilson covered by Castile. And the Broncos have held to open the game and will get the ball on a punt as in comes number 9, Barry Helton. Helton, who was drafted in the 4th round out of Colorado, replaced Max Runniger, who's now kicking for the Cleveland Browns. Gerald Wilhite, number 47, is back at the 25 for Denver on the skin part of the baseball infield. They've not been able to resod here at Candlestick. A flat kick. You could tell from the sound he didn't hit it just quite right. Wilhite to the 34-yard line. He's playing in front of a lot of family and friends. He was a collegian at San Jose State. 40 yards on the kick, 5-yard return. Sam Kennedy, who leads the 49ers in special teams tackles, gets another. John Elway. He's off to a sluggish start. He's got people not only concerned but curious up in the Mile High City. Tony Dorsett and Sammy Winder, the running backs. Ricky Natil and Vance Johnson, the wideouts, and Clarence Kay, the tight end. Jariga, Bishop, Brian Karts, and Lanier, the offensive line. They start from the 35-yard line. Orson Mobley, the tight end, in motion. Elway guns to the far side, complete. Vance Johnson rolled out of bounds at the 46-yard line. It's a 11-yard gain and a first down for Elway and the Broncos.
San Francisco corners tend to play you a little bit loose. Elway's arm makes that dangerous.
Larry Roberts, Michael Carter, perhaps the best nose tackle in football, Kevin Fagan. Charles Haley, he likes to rush the passer. He's a Fred Dean type. Ricky Ellison leads in tackles. Michael Walder and Keena Turner. McKyer and Griffin on the corners. Fuller and Lott, 2 hard-hitting big safeties. First down, Elway. The quickie is to Johnson on this side, and he's wrapped up immediately by Don Griffin, number 29.
The message from Elway very quickly: if you're going to give us room on the outside, we're going to take advantage of it. Elway dropping quickly. And Dick, you talked about the speculation about Elway. Why is he having so many troubles? The first question you ask is he physically all right? You know his arm is all right, the way he's whipping that football, but he is not running as well or escaping as well from traffic so far in this year.
Just 2 yards on that last play. Second and 8. 4 plays, 4 passes. Elway down the middle, incomplete to Clarence Kay, the tight end, in a crowd of red-jerseyed 49ers.
I asked John Elway what he had to do today. What was he thinking about? He said very simply, I've got to play within myself. I can't try to make it all happen with a single play. In other words, he can't force the issue. That's what's been getting him in trouble with interceptions.
Well, from his college days at Stanford through his career with Denver, he's the kind of player that just feels that pressure. He wants to do it all. And if the team isn't winning, he tries perhaps too hard. 3rd and 8. The crowd trying to make it difficult. They pick up the blitz. And is it good to Sewell? He comes up with the ball shy of a first down at the San Francisco 44-yard line.
I think they may have given him a little extra on that mark. It's still going to be very, very close. Really a tough call in a sense of where that ball ended up. Very close to a first down, and they're bringing the marker in from the sideline.
Remarkable catch by Sewell with the Broncos. Rick Massey, you heard on NFL Live, staying in Denver with his problems. They have only 3 wide receivers, and Sewell will be performing a lot in that capacity.
Here's Ronnie Lott on the blitz. One of the reasons that play was successful was that Lanier, number 76, one of the fine pass blocking tackles, able to stop it. You'll see Sewell coming across the top of your picture, and watch this great catch with all kinds of pressure from Griffin on his back.
Generous spot, and it is a first down for the Broncos. 4 straight passes for Elway, and he's back to throw again. Underneath to Kay, the tight end, and he's toppled close to another first down at the 34. Griffin and Michael Walter making the tackle.
Clarence Kay went down in the opening game against Seattle, a bruised spinal cord. He came back last week for those 5 receptions you see there, missed greatly by Elway and these Broncos.
5 in a row. That's bingo, isn't it?
That's bingo. And Dick, while they're measuring to see if that's a first down, one of the things you can do to this 49er defense, if you can get the running game going at their defensive ends, they are not big defensive ends. You can put some pressure on them on the corners. So far, Elway has neglected the running game, almost exclusively passing it and attacking those corners, challenging them to say to them, in essence, you want to lay off? We'll work the outside. We'll work the short stuff up the middle.
He sends Nateel and Johnson, his 2 speedy wide receivers, to the right. Clarence Kay, the tight end, to the left. Tony Dorsett and Sammy Winder in the eye behind Elway. That's Nateel in motion. First give is to Winder, and the fullback is to the 29, a gain of 5 and a first down.
Sammy Winder has never really gotten the kind of accolades in my estimation that he has earned. He's not the guy that's going to get the big yardage for you, but look at that average, 5.2. He's as tough and hard-nosed a runner as there is in the league, and he made good yardage on that play.
And he's been Denver's top rusher each of the last 6 years. Won't be this year, at least at this stage, with Tony Dorsett getting the call more often. First down play. Elway going for 6 points. It is intercepted in the end zone by number 22, Tim McConnell. Craig loses 2. Good defense. Robbins coming up from safety, and Mark Haynes playing it tough against the run at his left corner spot.
Robbins comes back out of that stack limping a little bit. San Francisco so tough to defense because they can run and they can throw. Montana, there goes Robbins off the field, and boy, this is a problem that continues to haunt the Broncos as they have had trouble keeping healthy defensive backs on the field.
Robbins for the injured Dennis Smith, so Steve Wilson, 45, comes in to replace him. Here's Rathman with a huge hole. Rathman all the way to the 38-yard line, and San Francisco's initial first down. Boy, he's tough to bring down. He still is on his feet. What an effort by Roger Craig to the 49 of Denver. Leading the team in rushing and receiving again. Now it's Rathman as they run straight. That's a score of interest to Denver fans, and Rulon Jones, who has been sent back a notch to the second serious afternoon in San Francisco. He said, we just can't afford to go 2-4 this early. On 3rd and 15, Montana. Knocked down by Simon Fletcher.
Take advantage of it.
Elton to kick. Wilhite back for Denver at the 10. Oh, Steve Sewell very close to blocking that one. Takes a San Francisco bounce. And Wilhite with a block on the first 49er down. Sidney actually gave Denver 20 yards. That was a 20 yard to the line of scrimmage. Dorsett in the eye. No score. Halfway through the first quarter. It's Winder again, and he's to the 24.
Billy Bryant, veteran center for the Broncos.
Silver medalist in '84 in the shot put. Sam Grady was a gold medalist. He's the man wide to the right, number 83 for Denver. Elway is dropped for a sack at the 18. 11th time this year that Elway has been sacked. Brings up third down and 13. Elway out of the shotgun. Ronnie Lott moving up on the line of scrimmage. We welcome Kansas City and Houston. A long pass downfield, incomplete. Elway trying to hit his tight end, Clarence Kay, on a third down pass, and so that brings up the punting team. Fourth down and third far. His net average is 41-7. Taylor and McKyer are deep. A high boot. Fair catch in the sun, and that'll take a bounce. Picked up by Taylor, and Taylor out of bounds at midfield. So the Broncos watching one man call fair catch, the ball bouncing, and the other picking it up. And Taylor, who had the punt return for a touchdown against the Lions, alertly takes it all the way. The New York Jets and Cincinnati Bengals. 5:57 remaining in the first quarter here at Candlestick. No score. San Francisco with the ball at the 48. Montana down the middle. Jerry Rice to the 25-yard line. This is the deepest penetration by either team in the first quarter. 27 yards on the play. Catches this year. He was the National Football League's most valuable player last year. Roger Craig.
Oh, what great accelerator. That's dedication.
Second down 5. Rathman, the fullback, and Carl Mecklenburg is there to say hello. Co-coach of Mecklenburg's talent called him one of the very best in the league. Third down 3. Little misdirection, but Craig caught from behind. The play made by 99 Sean Knight, second-year man from BYU. And this year, this is a 37-yard attempt. Montana to hold, and San Francisco has the early lead, 3-0. 3 minutes, 42 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. The 49ers by 3. San Francisco's Candlestick Park. The 49ers leading 3-0. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Mike Kofer, who just nailed a 37-yard field goal. And at the other end for Denver, number 84, Ricky Natil, and Ken Bell, number 35. 3:42 remaining, opening quarter. Denver gets the ball, and it's Natil, a speedster from Florida. But well done by the special teams of the 49ers. About a 25-yard return to the 23, and along the bay, San Francisco leading 3-0 late in the first quarter. Using that sideline huddle with a timeout, rather than re-huddling on the field, they just go right to the line of scrimmage. Something that Sam Weitz and the Bengals have used effectively. Denver starting from the 22. Elway to Tony Dorsett. And Dorsett out across the 30-yard line. Elway started the game, first possession. We welcome New England and Green Bay. That network that has seen Green Bay win its first of the year and win impressively. And this is Sammy Winder breaking into the open. Finally wrestled down by 22. Tim McKyer.
Get him down.
23 yards for Winder on the run to match his uniform number. Orson Mobley, big tight end in motion. Incomplete at the 37-yard line. Griffin on the coverage for 7 in the fourth. Here 3-0 San Francisco. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Elway on 2nd and 10. Open and incomplete as Vance Johnson running right into the teeth of that 49.
Take your head off.
Elway after completing his first 5 passes of the game, has missed his second 5, one of them intercepted. Gets away from Haley, throws to the far sidelines, and it's complete to Johnson, and it appears he has enough for the first down just near the 30. The Saints starting 4-1, tied with the Rams in San Francisco atop the NFC West. On first down, Elway shoots it incomplete. Sewell was the intended 10.
Michael Carter, that explosion that you need to throw a shot, he uses to explode off the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 5. Good protection for Elway underneath to his tight end, and a first down at the 23-yard line. It's only Sammy Winder in the backfield with Elway.
It's a good drive for Denver.
Elway protected well, and then it's knocked in the air incomplete. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. We're talking with Bill Walsh about how the game has changed in the last 10 years, and he said, just in that regard, substitution by situation, the nickel packages. Elway guns it to Dorsett, incomplete. Good coverage. Jeff Fuller was right there with Dorsett by McKyer. Elway complete to Vance Johnson at the 10-yard line. A 12-yard gain, and the Broncos continue their drive. 3-0 San Francisco, final seconds, first quarter. Little misdirection, and Sewell did not fool the 49.
Elway with 3rd and 10, or 2nd and 10, would love to put one in here.
To Natil, and broken up nicely. Tim McKyer, who made the left. Sewell to the right. And so is Natil far right. Blitz. Lott coming on the blitz. The throw to Sewell. Oh! Can't quite juggle it in. Had his hands on it twice, but couldn't pull it. And the game is tied as Carlos, who has missed only 3 all year, is now 11 for 14. 3-3 early in the second. It's a short kick. DeBose at the 15. And out to the 30. So a short Carlos kick, 15-yard return. The Broncos settled for the field goal. Half-minute gone, second quarter. It's Rathman testing the center of the Denver defense out to the 30. Underneath, almost intercepted. It was intended for Wilson, and it looked as if he hit Castile, who was looking at the man, not the ball.
Ball thrown behind the receiver, streaking across, and he had a little bit of room there as he had beaten Castile coming all the way across. But Montana did not come from behind, which is legendary.
And from injuries. 182 career touchdowns for number 16 Montana. And it's Wilson, Steve Wilson. At the other end, a wobbly boot. Will hide into the sun at the 31. The former San Jose State star is down at the 38-yard line. 42-yard kick, 7 yards on the. Come back to Candlestick Park. Sunny San Francisco. It's tied at 3.
It's coming in exactly, so they have to wait to send the defense onto the field.
Sewell in motion. It's Sammy Winder, no gain.
He said, I really kind of feel I can help with those short passes.
He does have 1 reception, 8 yards in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 Elway.
There it is.
Dorsett one-on-one, but he can't get away from Michael Walder, who wraps him up at the 37. A flag down, and they may have gotten a piece of the face.
That got him the 15-yard penalty.
Rookie mistake by Stubbs from Miami. Elway to Johnson. Didn't quite turn in time to pick up the ball. It was catchable. Elway has a man open, and it's a first down at the 37-yard line.
Showing some good choices in his receivers and getting the football to them.
Check that, an 11-yard gain on the play on a first down. Whoops, a little mix-up. That's a bad sign for any offense, as now Elway is changing plays. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
He gets it off, and he fumbled it.
Yeah. Second down. Elway working from the skin part of the infield. They'll start siding tomorrow. Underneath to Kay, the big tight end, gets a couple of extra. Third down. It's a long one, actually closer to 2 yards. Both Winder and Dorsett behind Elway. In trouble.
Used to get away from almost without fail.
You think that's just age and all those?
I think maybe just the pounding is catching up with him, Dick, and he's losing a little of that great speed that he had.
So fourth down and 16. John Taylor at the 10. Horan has been brilliant in this situation, just dumping the ball inside the 20. A whistle's going to blow it dead. And look at that kick. It would have been out of bounds at the 1 yard line.
And they're going to, robbery of Horan, who put it out as well as you can kick the football. And now they're going to, well, you know they're going to take this penalty.
Horan, just to underline how brilliant he's been as the Denver punter. McKyer joins Taylor. Take that Griffin back.
That one's a good one, too.
So for the 11th time, out of bounds at the 5 yard line with Horan. He's got the accuracy of a baseball pitcher. He's just hitting those sidelines. Timeout.
Send him to Las Vegas.
Francisco, California. Denver and the 49ers tied at 3. Just under 10 minutes left in the
coverage. The Olympics, the World Series, and on to the Super Bowl.
And we got the Breeders' Cup too in 3
All right.
from Churchill Downs in Louisville. Great year for NBC Sports. Montana play action in the end zone. Going for Taylor. He's got it at the 50 and dragged down at the 40. It's Craig. Wrestled down by Michael, nicknamed Catfish because his eyes are so big when you see pictures of him as he's carrying the ball. They're just wide open. And they are right now looking for the end zone. He's all the way to the 5 yard line, but a flag is down back at the 28.
I'm afraid they're going to signal a holding call against Jesse Sapolo
in the corner, and you can bet Montana will go to work on Wilson. Sidney's going to throw. Sidney downfield to Rice. Drops the ball. He had a touchdown in his mitts. It was a little short, but Rice won't lose many of those. Montana to Rice. Jerry Rice to the 1 yard line. 6 yard line. Check that, the 6.
A fine block at the end of that run by John Taylor, number 82. Allowed for some extra room for Rice, but he doesn't need much. What a powerful runner. I've got to tell you, it scared the heck out of you. Here comes Jerry Rice all the way across the field underneath, and it's about a 3 yard pass. Look what he does. Look at that powerful running stride. There was the block briefly at the top of your picture. The Rice all the way down just inside the 7 yard line. First and goal.
Hustling tackle by Carl Mecklenburg, trailing the play. First and goal. Montana to Wilson. And the other Wilson was there to knock it away. Second and goal. Montana brings him up. It's tied at 3. 7 minutes to go. Second quarter. Fake Craig. Rice is out of the end zone. Clearly out of the end zone. He had beaten Steve Wilson, but
what an asset.
Out of Mississippi Valley State. Quarterback draw. Touchdown Montana.
Two plays that I feared most as a defensive line.
Tried for point, a high snap, but a good hold. As Helton, the punter, or check it, Young, the backup quarterback Steve Young, spot as they go 95 yards in 8 plays.
Horizon to horizon.
Here comes Natil, feeling his way to the 20. And the tackle by Jim Fawnhorse, 55 of San Francisco.
At least a few seconds timing, and the defense very often will respond by calling the defense audibly, but it may make a difference in the personnel out there. So yes, I like it. Blitz. Look out.
Just does get rid of it as he was being pressured hard by Michael Walder, who came in untouched to just a 1-point advantage. Here it's 10-3 San Francisco. 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half. 2nd and 10 for Elway. Lots of time, and then from behind, brought down by 94 Charles Haley. 3rd for Haley on the year to lead the 49ers. 3rd and long. Elway having trouble with his footing. And down he goes at the 21, where it'll be 3rd and 9. It doesn't quite have that extra half step or strength to break away from the tackler in the open field. Moran booms a spiral deep to Taylor at his 26. Watch out! And only because he was jammed in traffic is Taylor stopped at the 47-yard line of Denver. Otherwise, he might have had another punt return for a score, and there's an injured Bronco on the play.
To the sideline, so 2 linebackers hurt on that play.
Good field position for the 49ers. Roger Craig. Mecklenburg got a piece of him first, and it's Craig short yardage to the 43.
Ways to protect his people from those man-to-man confrontations.
Rathman wrapped up nicely by 61.
Leverage, good hand slap.
3rd down and 4. Montana to Rathman, breaks the tackle of Ryan and has the first down inside the 30. Ryan, the linebacker, by almost 10 pounds. Leading 10-3 late in the first half. Montana goes for Wilson. And it was broken up. Mike Harden and Steve Wilson. 15 catches coming in, 3 of those for touchdowns. And he's going to get a lot of single coverage because of the attention paid to Jerry Rice. Roger Craig. Finally bulldogs him at the 14-yard line. Niners have played. He's gained at least 100 yards receiving and rushing. Montana intercepted at the line of scrimmage. One of the linemen going up and pulling it down. It's Boyer, Walt Boyer, the defensive end from Arizona State, leaping up to try to deflect the ball, and it's stuck right in those big mitts of his.
Too much time for Joe Montana. That's one of those where you see the guy and he's open. You know he's got a touchdown if you can get it there. Watch him. You'll see the receiver break open coming from the right-hand side. Montana sees him, tries to just take it over the top. And there was the receiver briefly on the right-hand side. But Boyer able to go up into the air and put his hands on that one. That's a basketball play if you ever saw one.
And what a huge play in this game as Montana driving the 49ers toward what appeared to be a lead of 17-3. Instead, the interception by Boyer, and Denver stops him at the 14.
I think it's an offsides on Carter.
2:55 left in the half. And incomplete as they went long for Vance Johnson.
A little bit jumpy. Maybe Billy Bryant, who's a veteran of many campaigns, put the little squeeze on that ball to get him moving.
You know well. You had your nose right there many a time right over the center. Draw play to Dorsett. Out to the 23-yard line, short of a first down. As he has passed Jim Brown and Franco Harris into the run and come back play again.
Yeah, if he gets close, he might do it. Dorsett actually older than Walter, isn't he?
That's right, he is. Dorsett, and a flag goes down as he was stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard gain. Larry Roberts, number 91, who plays.
About all was left for them was to attack the quarterback.
And that they have. He's really taking the brunt of it. So after the holding penalty, 2nd down, Elway, is there a flag on that? Yes. Yeah, that was an early hit, or at least it appeared to be. 8 seconds left in the first half. San Francisco leading 10-3. Elway, who completed his first 5 passes, has hit only 6 of 18 cents. And he's under pressure again. Throws it right in the hands of the 49ers. Keena Turner at the 35-yard line. The ball on the interception deep in Denver territory. It's Rathman plowing to the 29-yard line.
There's a leader and the linebacker.
Montana to Rathman in the flat. Good open field tackle at the 27-yard line. 3rd and 2. Montana hit as he throws. Rice can't get it. Jerry Rice streaking clear in the end zone, and Montana was leveled as he released the ball.
And he's still on the ground.
A long one, 43 yards.
Some breeze out there, too.
Uh-oh. And a problem. Although Young, a fine runner. Let's see if he can make something out of it. Cannot. He's out of bounds at the 31-yard line. So Denver on the muff snap saves another 3 points. So they have been dodging bullets, the Broncos, here late in the half, as Montana was intercepted on a little soft pass by a defensive lineman, and now
There for Young.
so Denver, with 1:03 remaining in the half, gets another chance to cut into the San Francisco lead. A little shovel pass to Gerald Wilhite out to the 43-yard line. That'll be good enough for a first down. Jeff Stover made the tackle, 11 yards on the play. No huddle, 50-49. You see, that's the official clock. Elway underneath, knocked right back into his face, and then he just bats it down. He could have caught it, but would have been for a loss, and he wisely just knocks it down incomplete, and that stops the clock. Did two good things. One, avoided the loss. Two, stopped the clock. 38 seconds to go.
Most importantly, wants to avoid the turnover, and he's had a couple of costly ones here today to add to that total on the year that's getting a little frightening.
It was brilliant, and so will be with us at halftime. Shovel pass again to Gerald Wilhite. Not fool Michael Carter.
Good play. Actually, Stubbs.
Danny Stubbs. Yes, 96.
Danny Stubbs out of Miami, who does such a good job of rushing that passer. That's what they brought him in here for. But he alertly saw what was happening inside, and that play designed to beat the defensive end by suckering him upfield did not work against Stubbs on that particular occasion.
Stubbs, who was an outstanding high school basketball player in New Jersey, Red Bank, New Jersey, and then migrated down to Miami, where he was on those great Hurricane teams and picked in the early second round by the 49ers, the last draft. Well, Elway, and you got to figure the first 5 passes were complete, and since then he's not only cooled down but thrown 2 interceptions.
Had a real problem. And one of the things that has to bother him is the fact that they lost 3 of their offensive coaches, not only Mike Shanahan, but Alex Gibbs, the line coach, and Nick Nicolai, who was also one of those offensive coaches.
The 3 amigos also.
He's had, well, injury problems to add to that.
3rd down and 7 for Elway out of the shotgun. Down he goes again. And it's Stubbs, the rookie, with a sack, the 4th sack of the half, and Elway is getting up slowly.
Well, he was twisted on that one.
Charles Haley from one side and Stubbs from the other.
Outside pressure. They're coming in. They're just driving it on Elway. Haley from the right-hand side just pushes over the top of Juriga. Just drives him back. No chance. Stubbs coming in there just blitzing. Boy, I tell you, those just like a pincher. It was like closing a pair of pliers on poor John Elway that time.
So Haley gets the sack, his 2nd of this game and 7th of the season. Elway not really protected well. Didn't have much time to search out a receiver. 38 touchdowns, 25 interceptions the last 2 years, taking the Broncos to the Super Bowl. This year, 5 and 11. You can't hide that statistic.
You can't, and you have to go back to Elway's first 2 years in the league to find that kind of disparity. It was at a time when Elway didn't know what he was doing back there, was making bad choices and bad decisions. Suddenly, for whatever reason, he's pushing again. He's trying to force it, trying to make the big plays. He's making bad choices. It's showing up in the interception column.
Here's Horan, the NFL's top punter this year, with Taylor back at the 23-yard line.
Woo.
That ball flattens out as it comes down at the 30 and down at the 29-yard line as the 49ers had a block on. 19 seconds left in the half. See if San Francisco will take a shot at the snap and hold. So Montana looking for something to get in field goal range. Goes to Craig, who's knocked out of bounds out at the 41-yard line. 15 seconds left. Now the clock continuing to run. Something's wrong there because you saw the official call timeout with 15 seconds. Denver Auburn defense playing very, very loose, so Montana would go underneath. And it's to Rice to the 40, tackled by Jim Ryan. 5 seconds.
Why no timeout here? Do they used them?
They apparently have.
Yes,
because
they
the clock
have.
runs out, and that's the end
They have.
of the first half. And a strange first half it was. Elway starting red hot, completing 5 for 5, then getting cold, intercepted in the end zone on the first long drive. And the 49ers wasting a couple of big opportunities late in the half where they could have perhaps distanced themselves to 20-3. And it swirls down to Bell at the goal line. Ken Bell of the Broncos has a seam and gets to the 26-yard line. Now John Elway and the Bronco offense comes on the field. Elway 13 for 27, and you look at third quarter scoring, and San Francisco has enjoyed this period while Denver sluggish. And for the Broncos, they've now gone 8 quarters and an overtime without scoring a touchdown. Going all the way back to that really heartbreaker when they lost to the Raiders. That is, I'm not sure they really recovered totally emotionally from that loss when they had the Raiders beaten 24-0 at the half. Elway buying some time on the rollout and steps out of bounds at the 31-yard line, a gain of 5.
That made the difference for the Broncos in the ball game.
That's right, Merlin. We heard it from coach after coach facing Denver. How do you keep Elway, contain him, contain Elway? He could beat you by manufacturing points. Sammy Winder dropped for a loss. Michael Conway, 3 wide receivers to the right, and now he brings Sewell in back as a protector over the middle and
Dropped the football.
Ricky Nattiel unable to hang on at the 37-yard line.
So often this first offensive series will set the tone, and if that's the case, Denver is in trouble. They have certainly not done anything to change the momentum in this ball game here in the first series of the second half.
Don Griffin, 29, and 82 John Taylor drift back as Horan to punt. He kicked 4 times for a 45-yard average in the first half. This one up in the wind. Taylor able to spin away from the first man downfield and then is tackled at the 30-yard line.
Great kick into that wind. Great kick.
42 yards on the kick, a 2-yard return. So there's your 40-yard net.
Sam Grady, the sprinter, was the man that was down there to try that first tackle. It just missed him. You got to catch him like the football, Sam. You got to catch him.
Roger Craig looking for 6 straight games of 100 yards total offense. 55 in the first half, so he's on course. And he gets the call on the first play of the second half. Good yardage before he's out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Jim Ryan makes the hit, a 7-yard pickup.
Coming into this ball game, Craig averaging 4.9 a carry, which is a huge average for a running back. Well, look at him just little dip inside. Ryan doing a good job, number 50, of getting off the blocker to push to the sideline.
On 2nd and 3, Craig with a first down and more.
Look out.
All the way to the 48 of Denver.
Acceleration and leg strength. Roger Craig just showing you both of those as he pulls out of a tackle and just pops through that opening.
15 more yards. He said, as a halfback, I have to be more patient, read that defense, and then react, not just react.
Mecklenburg, who was the man who missed the tackle there.
And there's Mecklenburg as he's taken out. Boy, it's got to be so tough. Look at that right hand with that heavy bandage. He's really playing one-handed. On first down after a 15-yard game, Montana. Wide open, incomplete. Mike Wilson, and the wind really carried that ball, drifted it.
And this is where playing in this stadium certainly an advantage. Montana and his troops know the tricky winds here, but when it's blowing like this, it's too tricky even for Montana.
So it's 2nd and 10. Carl Mecklenburg back in.
Boy, that wind is strong enough to almost pick the football right up and lift it off on its own.
Really swirling the dirt off the baseball infield. Here comes Craig. Ryan can't get him. Mike Harden knocks him out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Another first down. And Craig running rabid Roger Craig here in the third quarter.
Craig just running right through an opportunity for a tackle by Jim Ryan. And Ryan has slowed a little bit. Not able to get there. Not able to put even a half-hearted tackle on Craig on that play. And another defensive back down for Denver.
Tyrone Braxton.
Boy, that is horrible news. The Broncos decimated already. They've had real trouble holding people together. There's the missed tackle by Ryan. And you can't arm tackle Craig. You've got to wrap and hook. Look at him dip and just drive. He's still not on the ground. Braxton looks like he'll be back into this game, but the Broncos so thin at this point that you wonder who they're going to put into this ball game.
Roger Craig was 78 yards now rushing in the game. That puts him over 500 yards for the year. He's 6 feet tall and down from 224, weighs around 212 now. Hit in the backfield, still breaks free, and the second man, Simon Fletcher, along with Mecklenburg, able to make the tackle. Mecklenburg finally wrestled him down.
The first hit by Walt Boyer, who was slanting inside. And one of the things that Joe Collier will do when he has that defense slanting, they'll occasionally get a good seam, pop free. And when you get a shot like that, you got to put it back down on the ground. Make him fumble if you can. There's the signal going in. One of the difficult parts of this Denver defense, it's so complex that you don't just step in and play in it.
Second down and 11. Montana off a play fake. Underneath to Craig. And Craig, who leads all receivers, 35 catches coming into the game. That's his first catch today. It goes second catch, goes for 6 yards, and a dust storm off the southern end of Candlestick Park, the baseball end.
A virtual hurricane here, and Joe Montana thought he was hit by a hurricane that time as Sean Knight leveled him just as he threw that football, and he got up a little bit groggily, but he's gotten back into the huddle now. Takes a signal from Steve Young on the sideline and drops down into the huddle.
Third down, a short 6. Leading 10-3. Early in the third quarter. Over the middle to Rice. And he has a first down. A flag is down, however, where one would suspect holding. Randy Robbins made the tackle. Let's see if it counts.
And it is against the 49ers. You saw the frustration, the instant reaction of both Walsh and Montana. So hard to get a completion with that wind howling. And playing in this stadium, you almost have to prepare a team like you would a cold weather team. There are going to be days when you have to rely on the running game and those short passes.
That's like 2 different days. The first half,
74 offense, 10 yards, turn down.
You can hear the wind through the microphone of Jim Tunney. Well, on this day where the Oakland A's across the bay are in the World Series, let's see what else is happening. Backline hitter for the 49ers, Roger Craig, down to the 30 to 29-yard line. After the penalty, he gets the holding yardage back, but it is short of the first down and brings up 4th down, and the field goal unit comes on.
Craig showing you again that great leg strength, and that's one of the ways that you measure a running back is by how many tackles they can pull out of, how many tackles they can avoid, and Craig doing a great job of that here today.
This is going to be a difficult kick for Kofor with the swirling winds. It's a 47-yard attempt.
It is downwind, however. I mean,
if indeed it's a true downwind. I'm not sure how that's the way it swirls here. Look at that.
Look at the grass wiggle on this one. It's going to be tough to snap. Randy Cross is going to have his hands full getting it back on the snap.
And you'll remember the last snap went right through Steve Young's hands. In fact, so windy at 47 yards, that Denver defense may be reminding themselves, watch out for a fake. Kofor hit from 37 yards in the first quarter. It's 10-3, San Francisco. It is, hits the upright and bounces back, no good. Boy, if anything, I thought it would drift to the left. It stayed right on the right upright all the way. Timeout. Yeah, those treacherous winds of Candlestick Park, a factor in the second half as Denver, after the missed field goal, takes over just inside their 30-yard line, trailing 10-3. Tony Dorsett for a yard, maybe two. Dorsett has not been a factor today. The great star out of Pittsburgh.
One play away from being able to tie this game up, and certainly for the domination that the 49ers have had, they have not had it on the scoreboard.
It's like the 49ers getting the bases loaded 3 straight innings and not getting any runs in. It stays at 10-3. Elway protected a little better, and then it's deflected. He's trying to throw around the defensive charge and couldn't get his pass upfield.
Well, you'd think that the wind would be at the backs of the Denver Broncos for the fourth quarter, but that's not guaranteed here in this stadium. You never know which way the wind is going to be blowing. All you know right now is that it's in Elway's face, and it's going to make it very difficult to throw the football.
Looked like Jeff Stouffer might have gotten a piece of that. Number 72. The flags are not necessarily a true test of wind direction.
We do know it is blowing very hard.
Elway from behind, able to wiggle free and throw upfield, complete to Vance Johnson, and a first down at the 47. Johnson wide open.
Now that's the kind of play that we have watched Elway make so many times, pulling out of traffic, getting away from what appeared to be a sure sack, and then making the accurate throw. Vance Johnson right there to pick up this first down.
He was so wide open, he was surprised no one hit him early.
I think he expected one of those safeties, Ronnie Lauder Fuller, to put a helmet in his back when he caught that one.
In fact, it was Larry Roberts, defensive lineman, who came to down him. At the 47, first down, 8 minutes, 50 seconds left, third quarter. Denver trails San Francisco 10-3. Winder finds a hole. 40. 35 with a blocker. Johnson trying to help him out, and out of bounds goes Winder at the 17-yard line. That's the biggest running play of the day for the Broncos. Almost equals the entire total. 35 yards for Winder.
You're going to have a chance as we start this play and open it up. Let Orson Mobley come in on the left-hand side of your picture. Let it start just for a second here. Wind it, guys, if you would. Stop it right there. Orson Mobley is going to lead in here and throw a great block to lead that play. Watch him right there. He seals it off inside. Good job by Bishop. And then Winder just pops it loose to make a big gain.
Vance Johnson downfield to try to help with a block. First down at the 17 of San Francisco. It's Winder again, spinning and fighting to the 11-yard line. So Winder's around the 70-yard mark rushing at this point. Michael Walder first with a hit for San Francisco. Here's Walder, played at Oregon. Was the #1 tackler for the 49ers last year. Was originally drafted by the Cowboys in 1983. They released him.
This is the area of the field that the Broncos have had trouble. They've had trouble getting it into the end zone. They need the touchdown.
Winder again. Around the ankles and a flag down. They may call a late hit on number 75, Kevin Fagan. Ricky Ellison had the ball carrier on the ground, and Fagan appeared to be a step late on his hit.
Tunney warning Keith Karts to move off. Karts obviously angry at what was happening, as the call will indeed go against the San Francisco 49ers. Move the ball to a first down position inside the 5-yard line.
Tunney measuring the sidelines. It's half the distance to the goal.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 75. Half the distance to the goal line, first down.
It was Fagan. So first and goal at the 4 for a team that has not scored a touchdown in 8 quarters plus an overtime.
The end of that play, at the top of your screen, you saw Fagan, number 75, stacking. He drew the flag.
Whoops. movement by the Bronco offensive line. No play. Before the snap, someone on the left side. Dave Studdard, who has just been activated, the veteran from Texas, playing on the end position to the left.
Playing a third tight end in short yardage, and he makes a critical mistake.
70, offense, false start.
He's been on IR with a knee injury, and he came back, and his timing has got to be rusty. I got to tell you, that's a sour feeling. You know your team needs a touchdown. You sense his anger and frustration. There he is, just misjudging the snap count.
Boy, does that change the situation. First and goal at the 4 to first and goal at the 9. Winder, the only back behind Elway. And it's Winder again. He's been the workhorse on this drive, and he's close to the 5-yard line.
He picks up about 5 yards. That's the 5 they lost on the penalty. But the last 5 are going to be the toughest, and they've only got 3 downs to do it.
Coming in with a play from the sidelines as Mobley goes out is Tony Dorsett. Winder, 4 straight carries. This is the 27th possession since Denver has scored a touchdown. Dorsett. That's not there. The 49ers will drop him for a big loss.
Virtually telegraphed on that play, and there were 9 49ers, 9 red uniforms out there. Watch the pursuit by this 49er defense. They read the play so quickly they were almost there ahead of Dorsett. You'll see Tony driving to the outside. Look at the number of 49er defensive players. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 in your picture, and only 1 blocker, and Tony Dorsett.
That wasn't a tackle. That was a team party. Now Dan Reeves looks at 3rd and goal from just inside the 10. Wilhite doesn't fool anybody. The 49ers really rising defensively, and now the Broncos and 49ers in a little push and shove. Haley was in the midst of it. Keith Bishop for Denver.
Could be that goes back to that earlier penalty when there were obvious anger, and the obvious anger and emotion just carried over. You saw Reeves talking to Vance Johnson, upset about something on that pattern. I think frustrated at the read that Johnson made on the defense, and he is still cooking Johnson on the sideline.
And yet they called 3 running plays from that 1st and goal situation. No passes.
Maybe missed the block.
Harless will try a 27-yard field goal. He hit a 27-yarder in the first half. Into the wind. He's got it. So the Broncos get the field goal, but once again, a touchdown opportunity is lost. And it's Denver trailing by 14-0 lead at San Diego. The Chargers leading 14-0 early. Boy, a short kick. Harless almost missed it. A fair catch by Sidney at the 35-yard line.
He may have been trying an onside kick, knowing that wind would hold it up. Hard to tell whether that was deliberate or unintentional. If it was unintentional, it certainly was an ugly kick.
And Sidney very wisely calling the fair catch on the play.
Let's see what kind of power that Carlos brings to the ball. Well, it looked like it kind of slipped out of the hands of the holder just as Carlos got there.
Here's a reverse to Jerry Rice. They love this play. And the 49ers, Rice boomed out of bounds at the 46-yard line. He's okay, bounces to his feet.
Boy, he really took a shot.
That's the 6th time that Rice has run the ball this year, and he has 71 yards for those 6 attempts.
Not a bad average for a runner. Watch the hit at the end of this play. Haynes and Harden, the 2 defensive players, and it's Haynes, 36, who just cracks him hard. Rice, tough. He's right back up off the ground.
First down at the 46 of San Francisco. Roger Craig to midfield. and maybe to the 49.
San Francisco 49ers, I think, feeling good about their success so far, Dick, and have the feeling that they're doing things they want to do. They're just not playing as well as they would like to play right now. It's got to be frustrating for them. For Bill Walsh, I think they're kind of the victims of great expectations, having been bumped out of the playoffs very rudely in the last 3 years. People here in San Francisco are saying, hey, get to the playoffs and get us another Super Bowl.
Here comes Craig, who has 92 yards in the game and close to the 100-yard mark as he's at the 45 of Denver and close to the 44, which would be a first down. I believe he's just shy.
There's some popping going on down on that field. Wilson right there up to blast Rice, and then Rice was going to go back and get him and got run over by one of his own linemen. Now that's frustrating.
Going to have to measure on the play. Well, you saw again with that close-up the power of Roger Craig. He really runs out of the old school. He defies you to bring him down.
He is a horse. You see how they're having to hold that football down to keep it from rolling with that wind howling, and you saw that it is short by about 2 feet, a foot and a half. Tunney will bring the ball out, bring a new ball out actually, and mark it. Let's see if they have to hold that ball down. They'll push it down and maybe dig a little hole for it. Now they're going to have to hold the ball on the turf until the center arrives to put his hand on it. Now you know that wind is howling down there.
Rathman is the lone setback behind Montana, 3rd and inches, and Montana straight ahead behind his veteran center Randy Cross, who played at UCLA, and Cross, who is a all-pro guard, now playing that center position. There he is, 6'3" and 265.
I'd say that's a fine offensive line, and Cross, the old timer in that line, he's kind of the leader, calls those blocking combinations for Wallace and Sapolo and McIntyre and Barton. They are doing a good job of opening holes for, in particular, Roger Craig today, but also for Rathman. Rathman's had a couple of nice runs.
Craig was talking about that yesterday, how aggressive they are. There's Rice on the reverse. The other way. Out of bounds at the 26-yard line. And his average continues to be flashy indeed. 16 more for Rice.
And it looked to me, Dick, that if he had cut back, he might have been able to get another 5 or 10 yards on that play. Maybe that solid hit on the opposite sideline made him think about going inside. But boy, look at the speed here. There is no question he's got to be the fastest man on the field. And there was the little coast out of bounds. I think if he'd have cut inside Wilson's block, could have made another 5 or 10 yards.
Ronnie Lott says he's times at 4.6 until they put a ball in his hands, and then he suddenly is a 4.2.
Just like he had a jet engine on there.
On first down, it's Roger Craig twisted down at the 22, and that'll be right at the 100-yard mark, either 99 or 100 yards. Make it 101. Craig, who was the first ever in the National Football League to rush for over 1,000 yards and catch passes for over 1,000 yards. That was in '85, and he could do it again this year.
I wonder if this is like running in a marathon. When you're going downwind, it's going to be a little easier on you. They are definitely going downwind on this leg of the journey, and Montana would love to be able to get 7 points here.
Leading 10-6 with 3:23 left in the 3rd quarter. And it's Rathman. Well, that's a good name for a fullback, isn't it? Rathman. I mean, it just sounds ugly, mean, tough.
He is mean. Looks like he's shot out of a cannon sometimes when he comes up inside. And we talked about not wanting to tackle him anywhere but low. The other thing you don't want to do, if you're a linebacker in there and you see him coming in to block, you better just stack things up down low, because otherwise he'll take your hat right off your head.
3rd and 3. Rathman inside is going to be very close at the 15-yard line.
Looks like he has gotten the first down, all a matter of the mark, but I think he's over the 15.
First down, says Tunney. Walt Boyer made the tackle.
And that's where that size advantage for this San Francisco 49er offensive line will pay its biggest dividends. They said they really simplified their running game for the Broncos. They tried to just use a few core plays, similar to the philosophy that the Washington Redskins used so effectively in the Super Bowl last year.
Now, this is the #1 offensive team in the NFL, the 49ers, and they're looking at another 400-yard day, although Craig gets only a yard on first down. Simon Fletcher, number 73, played at Houston, makes the stop. But they have only 10 points to show for all that yardage.
They need a touchdown here. Another field goal would not be that great a help. They would still be within a touchdown range of the Denver Broncos. They've got to be thinking of stretching that lead. And I said it earlier, when you have that many opportunities and you don't cash in, you create real problems for yourself.
Rice draws a lot of attention. Jerry Rice wide to the right. Wilson split left, and that's the tight end. Heller has not caught a pass today. And it's Montana through the hands of Heller, and that's been the knock on this young tight end from Oregon State, that he can't make the tough catch or doesn't make it often enough. He's been playing behind John Frank. Frank injured, not in uniform today.
Frank had his hand operated on, will be out for a number of weeks, and Heller can catch the ball in practice, just has trouble in the game. And I'm sure that with experience, he is going to become a fine receiver. Runs good patterns, is a good blocker. But as you saw there, Montana used to the steady hands of John Frank and the quick outlet to his tight end.
3rd and 9, and the place kicker of the 49ers, Kofer, getting ready just in case. And a timeout spent by Montana of San Francisco. It comes with a minute and... Now Phoenix looking for its 4th win in a row here at San Francisco on a critical 3rd and 9 after the timeout. Montana, plenty of time. The pump fake, he gets away. And pushed out of bounds at the 9-yard line. That'll be short of a first down. 5 yards for Montana. He was looking for Rice in the end zone, and he was covered well. So Kofer and the field goal unit on again for San Francisco.
Bit of a handicap, as we mentioned, for quarterback Montana, who's so used to the steady hands of John Frank in there, and wanted to go to his #1 man, Jerry Rice. He wasn't there, had to pull the ball down. Picked up some yardage, but they'll have to try for the field goal there.
Remember, Kofer hit the right upright on his last attempt. This is just 27 yards. He's got it. Boy, you could see the wind playing tricks with it. So back to a touchdown lead. San Francisco with 1:09 left in the 3rd. Last play.
He's working on Guidry, a rookie, but watch Braxton, and that's what Montana saw, was Braxton drifting in on the inside, hoping the ball would be thrown to possibly pull down the interception.
At 2nd man, and Montana wisely tucked it away, but had to settle for 5 yards and ultimately the field goal. Here's Kofer kicking off to Denver. 13-6 San Francisco leads. Final minute, 3rd quarter, and out of bounds it goes, and with it Denver will take it at the 35-yard line. Let's go back to the late scores. This one is a touchdown lead for San Francisco. Miami still leading at Los Angeles. Phoenix big against Pittsburgh at home, and New Orleans by a field goal at San Diego. Giants and the Eagles tomorrow night. Remember back in the summer, we were talking to Bill Parcells, and he'd already pointed to that 6th game. He said, that's the one that worries me already, playing in Philadelphia, that game 6. From the 35-yard line. But Winder was the key to the last drive, his running. And it's Winder who gets the call on first down. Dragged down by Larry Roberts, number 91, after a gain of 5.
A play that's designed to get a little screening effect from Steve Sewell, who comes across in motion just before the ball is snapped. Hard to see Winder in there, and of course they're counting on the fact that people will not see that back on that little draw play, but good job of stopping it for about a 4-yard gain.
Seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Vance Johnson, the 2nd man in motion, and it's Winder again. Out to the 43-yard line, a couple yards shy of the first down, and that probably the last play of this 3rd quarter.
The running game not being tremendously effective, but you have to run the football. You see the trap by Bishop, 54, to spring the play inside. The gun ending this half, and Denver saying, now the wind is ours.
At the end of the third quarter, the score, touchdown lead for San Francisco. We'll be back after these. The fourth quarter with a key 3rd and 3 for Denver at their 42.5.
Shotgun. And there's some confusion for Denver. They were calling late. Good play.
Will Hyde leaping forward for the first down at the 47. Gets 5 yards. Ronnie Lott coming up to assist on the tackle.
And Ronnie Lott had seen something, maybe anticipating that play, was pointing and yelling. I think they were trying to get a change in the defense just before that play was snapped.
Lott, they say, is a real yeller in that huddle. He really keeps things buzzing.
He sure does. They've missed him when he's been out of the lineup. He brings a much more physical approach to the game.
Now playing very deep as a safety man. First down, Denver trailing by 7.
Look out.
Dorsett fumbles and San Francisco recovers. It's Ronnie Lott who falls on the ball.
Lott absolutely stole that football from Dorsett, and Dorsett expecting Lott to try and make the tackle, and Lott simply went in and stole the football. But a good play by Denver up to that point. Watch Lott go right after the football here. He just reaches in and strips it away and then gets his hands on it to cover the fumble.
Boy, he's a big play. You hear that in the most complimentary of terms. For some players are in a big play man, and Ronnie Lott is all of that.
You can see why they miss him in there. 3rd turnover of the day for the Broncos.
They're -8 now in the turnover table, and that really concerns Reeves, who watches that statistic very closely. Roger Craig, boy, he carries men 4 yards after he's hit. Finally dragged down by Cragen and Fletcher and Mecklenburg.
Something that the Broncos have done very well over the years is what you just saw Ronnie Lott do, was strip that football away, and I'm sure that's what they're thinking about right now.
Other stories in this football Sunday, the 6th week of the season. Well, Craig is over 100 yards here. Ickey Woods had 139 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Bengals still unbeaten. Brent Foley 118 yards for Green Bay in their first win. And Greg Bell 155 yards in the shutout at Atlanta scored by the Rams. Rathman into Denver territory has a first down at the 49.
49ers, I'm sure, will spend some time looking at that during the week. Right now, their major concern, running time off the clock. They'd love to be able to take that ball down and stick it in the end zone.
First down at the 49 as you see the other late scores. The only game at least dramatically close at San Diego, where the Saints now lead by 6. Here a 7-point 49er lead, 13-6. Bill Walsh said he thought it'd take 4 touchdowns to win this game. Craig protecting the ball, gains 4 to the 45-yard line.
Carl Mecklenburg there. Well, you see, you got to run for cover to get away from that dust that's whipping up, and these 49er fans happy with the way the 49ers are playing, at least much happier with the score than they would be to see something else up there. You can see that wind just continues to whip down there.
201 yards rushing for San Francisco, and he's got more than half of them.
Well, he's over his 100 yards just running the football today.
He's 6 for 6. Well, that's production, knowing you're going to get a century plus out of one player every game.
Audible call by Montana.
Craig again. Breaks that first tackle, breaks 2 more. He should have lost 2, and he gains about 3-4 yards.
How many times have we seen him run right through that first tackle today? It looks like Mark Haynes, number 36, one of the missed tackles. Watch him cut back against the grain here. Gets back inside of Craig, and there was Mark Haynes right there, and runs out of a second tackle. So he literally got out of 2 tackles to pick up that yardage.
Andre Townsend, 61, couldn't bring him down alone either. There's Haynes. That's a mismatch with Haynes at the corner. He's given away a few pounds, but boy, that Craig high knee action as well has to make it tough on the tackler.
He's a pumper.
5 seconds on the 45-second clock. 3rd and 2.
Fumble. Ball on the
And
ground.
Denver says they have it. Let's see.
Well, we talk about turnovers. The Broncos come up with a big one.
So Bill Walsh in frustration. His team moving the ball, controlling the game, and yet have only 13 points and are within a touchdown of being tied as they cough it up. And with it, a timeout. 11 minutes remaining here at Candlestick, and the 49ers lead 13-6. Fumbled snap, and Denver recovers at the Bronco 42 to stop another San Francisco drive. 13-6, 49ers lead. Elway, lots of time, no one open. Finally underneath to Kay. Kay breaks tackles to the 42-yard line of San Francisco. Let's go back to the fumble as Montana was trying to beat the clock, running down about 3 seconds.
Same thing that happened to Elway earlier. Just never got his hands on that ball, and the guards who were pulling pushed Montana out of the way, and Denver able to pounce on that football. We're not going to get a chance to watch Elway, but what a decisive way to start this drive. You feel Elway saying, come on, now is the time.
First down at the San Francisco 42, trailing 13-6. Winder gets a block on the corner, and good yardage to the 35 before he's dragged down by Charles Haley. Played his college ball at James Madison.
Got a fine block by Ricky Nattiel out there that really kind of boxed things in. These Denver receivers have never been afraid to stick their heads in there. They were able to get Winder sprung free outside. Look on the outside of this picture. You'll see Ricky Nattiel coming in right there. You don't see the block, but you see the room that the block created for Sammy Winder.
And a gain of 7 yards. 2nd down and 3. It's Winder again. Wasn't much of a hole, but he fought for a yard or 2.
He'll be very close to a first down with that. May end up just short.
Tina Turner, Larry Roberts all in on the tackle.
As frustrating as a day as this has been for John Elway, I think if he can pull it together for his Bronco team here in the 4th quarter and get them back on track, this is such a critical game. They already feel that they're behind the 8 ball. A loss here, and they almost begin to think about next year.
He picked up a yard, so it's 3rd down and 2. That's closer to 2 than 1. Elway, using a page out of the Montana book, sneaks it forward to the 30. Not quite the delay on the quarterback draw, but a little fake step, and then right behind his center, Bill Bryan, has the first down.
This game. Signals coming in for Gary Kubiak on the sideline. You're right about that, Dick. Montana, a different kind of quarterback than Elway. Elway's still strong quarterback. Not quite as quick as we talked about earlier, but still great strength.
So first down at the 30, and some of the fans at Candlestick getting nervous with 8:20 left. 13-6, a big hole for Winder, and he has another first down at the 22-yard line. Ricky Ellison makes the tackle.
Expecting, I think, to see Dorsett do some big things today, and I would imagine that the 49er defense a bit surprised that it's been Winder who has been the big tool in the running game for this Denver Bronco offense.
Make that not quite a first down. He picks up nearly 9 yards on the carry and now has 99 yards. Dorsett on the sidelines as Winder has taken charge, having a big game, a yard shy of 100 for Winder. 2nd down and short. Winder again. First down at the 19-yard line. So the Broncos driving toward a possible tie. First, let's go to New York. 7 minutes left. First down, Denver inside the San Francisco 20. Elway on the roll. Out of bounds he goes as he loses the ball at the 16-yard line as Kevin Fagan, trailing the play, made the hit. 3 yards for Elway. This game is the...
Anything else, Elway wants to end the touchdown drought.
A drought that has now gone over 9 quarters plus an overtime. Incomplete to Mobley, and a flag is down and holding against Denver.
A late hit perhaps on Elway would be the only other possibility, and Elway holding his face on the ground, a hand to his face. Trainers being sent out onto the field, and take a look here. Looks like Elway really takes a shot right up the middle, right there, the helmet right underneath the chin. Ricky Ellison, I think, number 50.
Penalty is accepted, 10 yards.
And to rub salt in the wound, the penalty is against Denver for holding.
It looked like Elway caught Ricky Ellison's helmet right under the chin and just went down like a shot. Wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't have a cut, although the trainers letting him walk off the field. Must stay out now, one play.
Now the focus on Gary Kubiak, who replaces Elway. Kubiak, who has been a solid replacement but has not thrown a pass this season.
They're trying to ask Elway, do you know your name? How many fingers am I holding up? Making sure he's all right. 49ers continue to rotate people in and out of the game. They've got the sprinters in there, the pass rush specialists right now.
After the 10-yard penalty at 2nd and 17, Kubiak draw wide open at the 20. He's at the 14-yard line. What a call, and a flag goes down. 13 yards and maybe more. Stover and Lott finally got him to the ground, and maybe a late hit. Mask, and that'll take it down farther, and a first down for the Broncos.
And this 49er defense has really hurt itself today with some critical penalties, several late hits, and there, the face mask reaching in. Number 42, Ronnie Lott, and Lott has made big plays today. That is a big play for the Denver Broncos.
Maybe a first down.
So it'll add 5 yards on to the 13 by Kubiak. They needed 17 for a first down, so they may be measuring. And here comes Elway, and what a job by Kubiak for one play. On a 2nd and 17, perhaps getting the first down.
5 yards, and it would appear that will give them the first down. It does. It's going to be 1st and 10 from
first and goal.
1st and goal from the 8.5-yard line. Elway back onto the field.
Face mask is a 5-yard penalty only. The distance made it a first down. First down.
Well, Kubiak still hasn't thrown a pass, but he made one big play, and now Elway once again can set his sights on the end zone.
Well, they had 1st and goal at the 4 and had to settle for a short field goal early in the game. Then, without overstating the fact, the Broncos have been in a terrible touchdown drought. They're into their 10th quarter without a touchdown. Elway floods the right area, goes over the middle for a touchdown. Vance Johnson. And was he left alone? Somebody missed an assignment.
Doesn't matter that it was easy, just matters that they got it in there. They've now put that drought behind them, and you see the celebration. That's one happy football team on the sideline right now. And you kind of feel the air go out of the players on the San Francisco sideline. I think they realize that they have their hands cut out, or their job cut out for them, as the game will now be tied if they can get this one-pointer through. There's Vance Johnson.
For Elway, only his 6th touchdown pass in 6 games. Carlos adds the extra point, and with 6 minutes and 23 seconds left, it's a new game in Candlestick Park, San Francisco. Broncos 13, 49ers 13. And Carlos had to come back and kick what amounted to, with the wind, a serious field goal after the holding call, or a tripping call it was. A tripping penalty, a rare call. And Carlos nailed it perfectly down the middle, and it is indeed tied at 13.
Nothing has been easy for the Broncos today. Here's a shot of that second kick, and Carlos has it dead center up the middle.
Is that a penalty shot?
That's a penalty shot. A relief shot. San Francisco 49ers thinking very quickly. All right, look, we haven't capitalized on the opportunities we have had here in the early part of this ball game. We've let Denver get back into the ball game. Now it's our job to get back out there, take charge, get some more points on the board. The disadvantage they have right now is that they are working against the wind, and that makes it tougher offensively.
And for Bill Walsh, his team was driving in control of the game, running well, and then they fumbled snap from center at the Denver 42, and the Broncos taking advantage of that turnover march for their first touchdown in a long time. And a key play certainly was Kubiak off the bench. One play getting them a first down on a 2nd and 17. 6 minutes, 23 seconds to go. Tied at 13. Reeves, who played for Tom Landry in Dallas for his career, almost took the job in Atlanta with the Falcons. That's so close to his home, Americus, Georgia, and finally settling in Denver, where he is now the winningest coach in Bronco history, and this is his 8th season. But after 2 Super Bowl appearances, he's not been at all pleased the way things have started this year. 2-3, and 2 weeks ago that loss that just haunts him yet to the Los Angeles Raiders, 30-27 in overtime, when they led 24-0 at halftime.
Those losses within division, 2 are the tough ones. 3 losses within division, and 2 of those at home.
Harless kicks it deep, and the wind carries it right over the head of Doug DeBose. It's first down, San Francisco at the 20-yard line. Well, we'll keep our eye on Roger Craig, who has 117 yards rushing today. That ties his all-time high. But first we have a timeout. 6:17 left. That should be another great sports day on NBC. Just a couple of weekends. We'll be in Louisville, Kentucky for the Breeders' Cup. Now the pressure here on San Francisco, trying to go 5-1, stay with New Orleans and the Rams in the NFC West. They start at the 20. Roger Craig. And with those 5 yards, he's now at 122, his all-time game high with the 49ers. Final in, New Orleans 23, San Diego 17. 3 Morton Anderson field goals, the difference there. So Saints and Rams have both won. They're 5-1. And San Francisco needs a victory to stay tied for the lead in the West.
Just an aside, the only 2 teams that Bill Walsh has not defeated in his tenure here in San Francisco, the Denver Broncos and the San Diego Chargers. Interesting.
Reeves has beaten him twice. Rathman has the first down across the 30-yard line. Simon Fletcher cut him down with a tackle, but Rathman fell about 4 yards after the hit.
Maybe we can put that graphic back in. We didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. The chance to look at the rushing comparison of 2 backs who've really dominated the rushing game here today. There's one of them, Roger Craig. Winder, a surprisingly effective day for the Denver Broncos.
Francisco averaging over 400 yards a game coming into this one, #1 in the NFL, and they're going to be up there again. Craig, look at the explosion and the effort of Craig, who has 10 more.
A great trap block inside by Jesse Sapolo, number 61, who just powers inside. Maybe we can get a chance to do it for you. Watch Sapolo, who's playing right here. Watch Sapolo just come inside. A little block back by the center, and Craig will rip up inside through a very open hole. Look at that. Bingo. And there's Roger Craig stepping again. Look at the leg power as he just drives out of those tackles.
Yeah, it's a great shot to show you how important the timing articulation is. Montana on top to Rice. And the wind held that up just enough for Steve Wilson to save the touchdown. As Rice was sprinting clear, the ball just died in midair.
On a day without that breeze, that's a touchdown because Rice had just simply run away from the coverage. Montana with plenty of arm, but the wind, as you said, just killing the football. And that's what happens to you when you start to face that breeze, and particularly here in Candlestick.
Brent Jones, who was just activated, number 84 by San Francisco, to replace John Frank at tight end, is in for the first time. And there are the 2 leading runners, Winder and Craig. And Winder's second half performance has pulled Denver back into the game. And on 3rd down and short yardage, the 49ers wedge it out and have another 4 downs. The clock now becomes a more important factor. 4:14 left.
Winder only had 31 yards at the half, Dick, so he has indeed had a very impressive second half. Right now, 1st and 10. San Francisco thinking about two things: eat the clock, but most importantly, let's get some points on the board.
And they'll be, if a field goal is a factor, kicking into the wind, of course. They're 14 yards from 400 for the day as Montana on top. He's got those 14 or close to it, and a first down at the Denver 42. Mark Haynes makes the tackle. Roger Craig with a tough catch. And a penalty flag down against San Francisco.
And Roger Craig cannot believe it. The hard work of getting the completion out there and the hard hit that he took at the end of it. And it's going to be marched off against the San Francisco 49ers.
And penalty mistakes have been a factor in this game as well.
Jim Tunney.
61, 10 yards, still first down.
Hard to maintain your dignity when your hat's trying to fly off on you. Well, let's talk for a second about heroics. I'll tell you, Joe Montana, no stranger. Earlier in the year, a 78-yard touchdown pass to Rice with 42 seconds left in the game to beat the Giants. But let's look at this play.
Jesse
See if you can,
61.
61 right at the top of your screen. He's got a wrestling hold there. Takedown. There's the hit we talked about. Mike Haynes.
Well, Mark Haynes, who has done some good work with leveling the receiver, although he's playing off the ball there.
Certainly having a very strong year as Mark Haynes.
Steve Young had come into the game for San Francisco, and we now have a timeout. One of the hats of the officials.
You saw Jim Tunney trying to hang on to his hat moments ago, and he's going to have to retrieve it all the way from the end zone now. Give Montana a little chance to get over to the sideline and talk to the coaches.
So a timeout with 3:17 left in regulation zone stations where the program will be seen at its regular time. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. We have 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The game is tied. San Francisco and Denver at 13.
A question might be asked here as to why Steve Young is in the ballgame. We've had no indication that Montana is hurt. We do know that Montana was sick earlier in the week. Lost about 10 pounds and maybe weakening some. But also, we'd have to maybe wonder that Young's great running ability would figure into this, and we may see him roll out of there. Yes, indeed. There he goes.
Plus the fact he has a stronger arm, and throwing into the wind, that could be another reason. So there are several trying to guess with Bill Walsh while Young, not Montana's in there. But Greg Cragen makes the tackle.
Well, here's the rollout we predicted, and Young is an outstanding runner, but he can't outrun number 71. Greg Cragen comes from the nose tackle position. Watch it right here, a very sure ankle tackle on Steve Young.
And it's ruled a sack for Denver with 2:37 left. And the 49ers now looking at 3rd down and 18.
And the big concern at this point is still going into the wind. That's a lot of time. Denver is going to get the football with quite a bit of time on the clock unless they can pick up this first down.
For some of you who are just joining us after a placid first half where the wind was not a factor at all, at halftime it came up. Give you an idea how strong it is. It doesn't look it from the flags. But as Denver has taken the timeout, Jim Tunney's hat blew from the 40-yard line right through the end zone, and he's going to have to use that stick in the gymnast to keep everything in place.
Put a strap on that hat, tie it under a rope.
On the 10-minute ticker, Miami leading by 10 at Los Angeles. That 24-0 lead, however, is down to just a 10-point advantage. Phoenix has beaten Pittsburgh. We know it's final in San Diego. New Orleans beat San Diego. Phoenix about to beat Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 18. Young looking for a bunch. He's a great scrambler, and here he counts. To the 42-yard line, Randy Robbins, number 48, made the tackle for Denver, and they'll have to punt.
Walsh not taking any chances. Well, short of the 10 yards. I was looking at the post there. He's actually 11 shy of the first down. You'll get a chance to watch the play as Young bursts out of there. He has a little bit of time. He's looking to throw the ball downfield. One of his problems as a quarterback, he is not too patient in there. Here's the quickness we talked about, but not enough to get him down there. As Randy Robbins, first hit, number 48. They take him down, and Walsh has his punting team on the field.
And a timeout. The 2-minute warning has been given. With a score, San Francisco 13 and Denver 13. All 2 minutes to go. And punting into the wind for San Francisco will be Barry Helton. 49ers have controlled the ball enough that Helton hasn't seen much duty here in the second half. Boy, look at the wind take that one. That ball's going nowhere.
Almost blew it right back with a great bounce.
And Wilhite fields it at the 32-yard line.
About a 20-yard bounce as that ball came straight down and just jumped toward the Denver goal line.
Normally, when you kick them into the wind like that, it bounces back in your face, and had it, that would have been a no-gainer.
Well, we've seen punters down their own punts. It looked like that might have been a possibility on that one. But good bounce and a little bit of room. And now a defensive unit for San Francisco that's taken some heat this year. They've had 3 games where they were certainly maligned for the way they've played. They need to come up with some big plays here. See if they can shut down Elway and company.
Crowd will try to help. Elway is sacked. Danny Stubbs, the rookie from Miami.
Exactly the kind of play they hope to get to put the pressure on Elway. Coming from the right-hand side of your screen, number 96. Elway trying to look downfield, but there's just no way. Ken Lanier, 76, could not hold Stubbs away from John Elway.
And Denver will spend a timeout with 1:37 to go. And one of the thoughts here as Elway goes to the sidelines, but we'll pick it up after we pause for the Olson, that with a 1:37 to go and a 2nd and 20 deep in your own end, you want to flirt with a possible interception mistake here, knowing you will at worst perhaps have overtime.
Absolutely true. And Elway was limping slightly as he came back onto the field. We'll keep an eye on him.
There's a little safety valve middle screen to Wilhite, and he plows across the 30 to the 32-yard line to get the 10 yards lost on the sack plus a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 8 or 9 to go.
High percentage pass, not the kind that would be intercepted, and we'll see that again. You're right. They don't want to flirt with the possibility of interception here.
1:10 remaining. Elway. Now he has a man wide open, and he throws short to Sewell. And that was a windblown pass, and a flag is down.
2 flags, one on each side of the field for a possibility of an ineligible man downfield. No, offside.
San Francisco. So that'll bring up 3rd and about 3.
Another opportunity for Elway and company.
1 minute and 3 seconds showing on the clock. 1 timeout left for each side.
See if we can hear the number.
96 defense, offside.
Stubbs, who had the sack to start this sequence.
The eagerness to get in and take another shot at Elway, and Stubbs crowding the football gives Elway and company another opportunity. They would have had to kick the ball away.
What appears from what happens when you throw the ball cross field, the wind just takes it away from you. You almost have to go down the middle.
As strong as Elway is, he couldn't beat that clock.
3rd down and 3, not 3rd and 7.
First down.
Wilhite right at the chains. Let's see where they mark it. I believe they're going to give him the 42. That would be a first down.
They are happy to have Gerald Wilhite back in the lineup. Not only a fine receiver and a good clutch runner, but also he is their best pickup man at the blitz. And he stays back in there. He reads the blitz, and he'll pick up those blitzers as he did earlier in this ball game, and that's critical.
Clock is running, 45-44. The longest field goal ever for Carlos is 51 yards, just to give you an indication where Elway has to go. There's that same play up the middle with the screen, and Wilhite is to the 49-yard line. 27
seconds. They're clicking it down. Elway finally takes a timeout.
And that will be the last timeout for Denver.
And one has to wonder, with that powerful breeze behind him, how far Carlos could kick. We have a flag down on the field.
34-yard line would be the line of scrimmage for a 51-yard field goal.
Defense was offside.
Stubbs offside again.
It's declined as they will take the gain on the play as the time is more critical at this point.
Oof. The wind basically at the back of the Broncos, but it's not a predictable straight from behind. It's a swirling storm. Intercepted. And Elway makes the saving tackle at the 39-yard line as Darryl Pollard, number 26, makes the big play. Hold on, the Broncos are saying there's a penalty, and they still have the ball with 16 seconds left.
We've had a couple of critical calls.
21 defense before the pass is intercepted.
This San Francisco defense continues to self-destruct in critical situations. They've had 2 late hits. They've had right there a penalty that takes the football out of their hands and puts it right back into the hands of the Denver Broncos.
It was called against the veteran defensive back Eric Wright, number 21.
Let's look for it if we can.
Yeah,
we don't see it. Nope. No. Obviously back on the other side of the field, but it doesn't matter. Well, I don't know about you, Dick. There it is, far right-hand side, and you saw the throw of the flag right there.
It was a check outside the 5-yard zone.
You can't pop those receivers once they get beyond 5 yards.
So the first down for Denver, 16 seconds, no timeouts left for Elway. He has to go sidelines. It is caught by Mobley, who was tackled at the 15, but Denver has no timeouts left.
5 seconds. I don't think.
Well, they've called a timeout here, but according to I guess they did have one remaining. The word we had received was they had only one timeout left. They've used one since then, but apparently Dan Reeves did have one remaining, and now they can bring on the field goal unit. Oh, my.
An opportunity for Carlos to put it up.
That was a 28-yard play. How Cake caught that ball with 49ers diving around him. It was an outstanding play.
I think that's a hard one to judge for the defenders. The ball whipping with the wind. Here's a chance to look at it from high above. Mobley, far side of your screen. 2 defenders right there reaching for the football, but number 89 gets it, and then a few more yards. Boy, that's a big play. And now right back in the lap of number 3, Rich Carlos.
It'll be around 34 yards with plenty of wind at his back.
Carlos 10 for 10 going into last week. 4 of 7 last week. Has kicked well here today, and he's kicking off the grass.
He's kicked 2 short ones, 27 yards. This one is 34 with 5 seconds left. This would win it. If he misses, we go overtime. Even close. Wide to the right as that wind drove it.
And the devil winds of Kezar have denied Reeves what he thought was a sure opportunity to step out of here with the victory. It now will go to OT.
Well, it almost was driven into Kezar Stadium. You're right. So with 2 seconds left, San Francisco will have a cosmetic down, and then we'll go overtime. In fact, they're going to line up with Jerry Rice back at his own 5-yard line as a protector. And so it is. Overtime at Candlestick Park. Now, Rich Carlos with a chance to win it from 34 yards, but wind blown wide to the right.
And the one thing that's going to be interesting, when they flip that coin, I would bet you that they're not going to be taking the football. They're going to be taking the wind. This is a flip that you want to win, not to get your hands on the ball, but to get the wind at your back.
And that will be a big part of the story now as the captains are called to the center of the field for the coin flip.
Meanwhile, Bill Walsh, who has to be unhappy with some very critical penalty calls that have denied him both offensively and defensively, and denied him the ball at the end of the game on what was at the time a brilliant interception.
Such a frustrating day. There have been so many big plays for this 49er defense negated by penalties, the kind of errors that just drive you crazy if you're a defensive coordinator.
Talk about going
in the air, please. He calls heads. It is heads. Denver has won the toss.
Now the choice, wind or ball.
Yeah, you see them pointing. They say, we want this goal. Elway's saying, hey, we don't care about the football. We want the goal. Yeah, there it is.
Denver has won the toss and elected to defend the south goal. Denver will kick off to San Francisco.
You won't see that often, where in overtime you'll give up the ball to the other team, but the wind certainly is one of the big factors, and Denver wants it going into this 15-minute overtime period. We'll be back. Selected to stay with the wind in this overtime period, giving the ball to the 49ers. It'll be interesting if Bill Walsh will counter with his younger, stronger armed, faster quarterback Young, or will he stay with Montana?
Montana close to the sideline, licking his fingers. I think he feels that it's going to be his opportunity to get back into this ball game. And it wouldn't surprise me that, he's had a bit of a time to rest. Maybe he's feeling better. Look at him. He's got the warm. They said, well, better warm up the I'll tell you, it's going to be tough to throw that football into the teeth of this wind. You're going to see a lot of Roger Craig and Tom Rathman.
Couple of finals we can duck in. Miami leading 24-0 at the half at Los Angeles, beat the Raiders 24-14, and Phoenix wins again. 4 in a row for the Cardinals at home. They beat Pittsburgh 31-14. Here it's 13 all. As Carlos kicks it off to start the overtime period. 1 15-minute period. Sudden death. DeVos. He hit at the 20 and falls to the 22. Pat Kelly, reserve tight end, number 86 down the field, makes a big hit.
Kelly had a blocked punt in that win last week.
We were able to slip away to the beauty of Vermont while I was gone.
Yeah, looking at these colors out here in the stadium reminds me of the beauty of the fall colors in Vermont. A lovely time.
Roger Craig. They faked the reverse, and Craig kept it. They brought Rice around as if it was a reverse, and Craig holds on out to the 27-yard line, maybe the 28.
Walsh loves those gadget plays. He's hit us and the Denver defense with a couple of beauties in terms of reverses today to Rice. And, of course, taking advantage of that with the fake reverse, but Denver's defense reacted well. 2nd and 5. Pressure on him. Hand him an Alka-Seltzer. Give him something. Stomach churning.
On 2nd and 5. Montana.
Great catch. Great throw.
On the run. Did he lead him perfectly with Jim Ryan coming up from linebacker and Mark Haynes at cornerback. Defensively for Denver, it'll be just shy of the first down, apparently.
I wonder how Montana judged the windage on that one. That's a tough pass. That's crosswind. He's able to get it drifting out there, and a great catch right there by Rathman. 3rd and short yardage.
1 yard for the first down, and it's a first down. You just see how even the scrimmage control has been. That the 49ers need control. They don't want to have to punt into that win at this stage. And Craig is going to be close.
Very, very close to the first down. That was a strong tackle inside by 77 Mecklenburg, who put a real cruncher on Craig.
And they're going to measure.
And it would be interesting here, if they're short, to see what Walsh would do. Would he go for it on 4th down? Kicking into that wind has been hazardous all day. Helton, you saw, kicked one straight up, almost had it not bounced away. Well, he doesn't have to make the choice.
First down for San Francisco. Joe Montana staring into that setting sun over the western sidelines where San Francisco's bench is located. He gets his read, and that always isn't perfect either. As Bill Walsh told us against the Lions last week, he signaled in a very safe pass, and Montana misread the signals and went for a hook and lateral play. And he said, "Oh, Walsh said, oh my goodness, late in the game, I could just see that lateral laying on the ground." Here comes Craig, and several Broncos, Boyer, Townsend, and company to make the tackle after short yardage.
This has been a gallant effort by this Bronco defense with the injuries that they had coming in, the injuries they've had today, to hold the 49ers to 13 points and to be able to turn them away as many times as they have. Been a fine day for them. And at this point, with the kind of exhaustion that you have, you just got to reach down and suck it up.
410 yards, total yards now. Play action, and what a throw again. Complete to Mike Wilson at the 50-yard line.
And you've got to wonder, Dick, if maybe that wind is easing up a little bit as Montana has been able to complete a second pass, but he is throwing it low and on a string. Well, I tell you, dangerously close to the ground, but well done. He's been able to beat the wind twice on this drive, moving the ball to just nose up on the 50-yard line.
Was Wilson's first catch of the game, 13 yards on the play.
Wilson had, what, 5 catches last week? Had a big week.
There's a delay. They may be looking at the replay. Short passes, ground game, and now Montana into the flat, incomplete.
Drop the football.
You won't see that often from Roger Craig.
Sure pair of hands out there, but not on that one.
Well, let's look at all the finals while we're in overtime here in San Francisco. And we hope your favorite team won today. Second and 10, Montana. Montana with flags flying around him.
I think we got a holding call, which probably will be refused because it's going to be about a 6-yard loss on the sack.
And Montana gets up holding his rib cage.
And the wind definitely feels like it's easing up on the field, Dick. Just a sense that it's softened up a little bit here late in the afternoon. Still blowing, definitely against the 49ers, but not blowing with the intensity.
62, offense is declined. They're down.
They've waved off the penalty as we expected that they would, knowing that they're going to take the down away from the 49ers. And there's Montana. He's gone to the sideline. Steve Young will take over.
Guy McIntyre was the man ticketed for the penalty, but Denver, of course, takes the sack, and it's third down. About 16 to go from the 44-yard line. Here's a big play as Denver eager to get the ball, and now Steve Young, and it looks as if there's a mix-up here.
He had some confusion, said you got to be the other way. Let's see if he rolls it out to his left. Yep, there he goes, drifting out.
He throws high and intercepted by Denver at the 32-yard line. Going out of bounds with the ball is Mark Haynes.
Bill Walsh cannot believe it. Started out on the field. Let's keep an eye on quarterback as he comes off, and he doesn't want to get close enough to talk to Bill Walsh.
Walsh is there to greet him. He's not going to get around him.
Why are you throwing that football? Man covered, obviously. In fact, excellent coverage on the play. You'll see it on the left-hand side of your screen. Rolls left, looks back, and throws to a man who's double covered. And there it is. You can't double cover him any better than that.
Well, it may have been as good as a punt into the wind anyway. Had it been incomplete. And now it's Denver's chance. And Winder loses a yard on first down. Read well by Ricky Ellison. Played at Southern California. And Larry Roberts from Alabama.
Montana is still aching on the sideline. Can't tell whether it's ribs, stomach, groin, what it is, but enough to get him to the sideline and allow Steve Young to make a costly mistake. Defense up with a big play. It'll be second 11.
High, 141 yards. Vance Johnson, who has the touchdown for Denver, in motion. Elway to Johnson, and he's out of bounds with a first down at the 43-yard line.
There's the magic we talked about. The ability after the play has broken down to make something happen that is positive for your team. Elway sprints out, gets some extra time to the outside, finds the open receiver, completes the play for a first down. Here's Elway. Elway gets the extra time with his legs, and you see Johnson left-hand side of your screen as he throws back against his body. Boy, now I don't know how he can complete that pass, but he did.
First down for the Broncos. 10:18 left in sudden death overtime. Winder met in the backfield for another loss.
99. Michael Walder and Ronnie Lott on the blitz. Woof.
Ronnie Lott, a big hitter and a big game player. And for Denver, John Elway, 21 of 38, 210 yards, a couple of interceptions, and one touchdown pass. Winder, Sammy Winder, has Tony Dorsett on the sidelines. 103 yards rushing for him. And Vance Johnson, 8 catches for 85 yards. Harless missing one field goal, but that one would have won it. A loss of 2 on first down. And so Elway moves to the shotgun. To the sidelines. Almost picked off. On the far side by number 22, Tim McKyer, who intercepted Elway pass in the end zone in the first quarter.
So very close. McKyer, you'll see him at the top of your picture. He's backed off, and here he comes on the acceleration, arrives just as the football arrives. Boy, you can't time it any better than that. Ticks it out of the hands right there.
Vance Johnson didn't sell his pattern very well. They came out there and soft-stepped his move to the outside, and McKyer read it well.
I think that foot's still bothering him a little bit on his cuts.
Third and long. Down the middle. Kay can't get it. Incomplete. And San Francisco will get another chance as the punting team comes on for Denver.
Trying to get it to his big tight end up the middle, but that ball just thrown too hard and behind the wide receiver, tipped that way. Often it will result in an interception. And Mike Horan is going to have a chance to punt it again.
Oh, fourth down. Horan, who came into this game as the top punter in the NFL, with the win end over end, takes a big Denver bump. And covering it at the last second was number 29, Don Griffin, at the 10-yard line, flirting with disaster.
That ball jumped with the wind as it kicked up. Almost got away, and there's a flag on the field.
On their 5-yard line, and that's how they start here with Young, the quarterback. And the busy Roger Craig carrying the ball for 2 in the second play.
Call from Young.
Inside handoff to Rathman, and the big fullback, and a flag down. Appears to be against San Francisco. Rathman had enough yardage for an apparent first down, but there it is, the ugly holding call if you're a 49er fan.
I don't think I'd want to sit in on the film session that Bill Walsh is going to throw for his troops to.
So it's second down and 12 yards to go from just outside the 3. 8 minutes left in overtime.
Yes,
good thing. And he's throwing long for Taylor.
Ooh.
And no flag. The fans are screaming for one. Harden and Steve Wilson on the. Now a critical third down for the 49ers, or they're going to be punting from their own end zone. Intercepted by Denver, Steve Wilson. Wilson at the 5, and he is to the 4-yard line on the deflection, and the Broncos are celebrating.
And how many times have we seen this Denver defense come up with the big interception? Steve Wilson, number 45. Again, playing because of the injury to Jeremiah Castile. He's the guy that's in there to make the big play. This ball bounces out of the hands of the intended receiver right there. Jerry Rice right through his hands and right into the waiting arms of Steve Wilson. Wilson does a good job of getting away from his counterpart, Mike Wilson, to get an extra 5 yards before they finally took him down.
I think Jerry Rice looked up. He saw Tyrone Braxton coming up to make the hit, who lost sight of the ball. I believe Elway here is just going to set this up in the middle of the field, and we might see a field goal try on second down. Right into the middle of the line goes Dorsett.
Yeah, here it is.
And here comes the field goal unit.
Not taking any chances. They're going to go right now. And the advantage of that is that if you happen to misfire on the field goal, you're not on a fourth down situation. You just cover it and go ahead and take it on another opportunity. Carlos, by the way, has to be saying, thank God that I'm going to get another chance after that miss.
He missed in the final seconds of regulation from 34 yards. This one is not much more than an extra point. They'll spot the ball at the 13, a 23-yard attempt. The Broncos 16, the 49ers 13, and a flag is down. Hold on. Let's check the flag.
Don't celebrate yet, fellas. Find out who the penalty is on.
Number 42 is declined. Field goal is good. The game is over. Shoot it.
Penalty against Ronnie Lott on sportsmanlike conduct. That could be for a lot of things. The game is over. The wave of victory to Bill Walsh, who watches his 49ers move the ball up and down the field and unable to put it in the end zone or get any points, and he goes 4-2, and the Broncos with a most important winner now, 3-3. Steve Wilson with that interception in the overtime period is our Budweiser most valuable player. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVP selected in today's games. 419 yards for the 49ers.
Congratulations. I never have.
I've never seen nothing like it in my life.
You saw a few of those?
I guess there was a few of them out on the field there when we were kicking field goals today.
What would you like to talk about first, the one in overtime or the one at the end of regulation?
Well, actually, I'd like to just thank Steve Wilson on the air for pulling my butt out of the ringer.
How bad, how much did that wind affect what you tried to do today?
It just, every time out was just, it was a real mind test more than anything. Just not allowing it to come too much into play. I mean, the thing that I had to do today was line it up where I thought I should play it and just hit it and hope for the best. And, I didn't really get a chance to see a lot of the kick that I missed. But, I had thought it, like in the situation when we kicked the 2 extra points and one after the penalty, and I hit him down the middle, I thought I was fine.
You want to thank Steve Wilson?
Hey, I want to personally thank Steve Wilson on the air for saving Rich Carlos's butt today.
What does it mean? What do you think it means to this team? We're live, by the way, Steve. To have Steve come back, he's been back for 10 days, and he makes a play that maybe not only wins the game, but turns the season around.
Well, I think that, anyone that knows Steve knows what kind of guy he is. And, we all felt bad when he was released. And, you never feel good about something like that. But, it's nice to see Steve come back. And, he probably sort of feels the way I do. I messed up and I got a chance to prove myself, and Steve came back and made a great play on that interception today and gave me a second chance.
Hang on one second. I just want to go to Steve. Were you surprised at all that you were in there in a position when Castile went down? Do you feel that you're going to make a type of play that turns the ball game around?
Well, I woke up this morning and something just hit me and said, boy, this is going to be a dogfight. I've been in this stadium a lot of times and hadn't had a lot of luck here, but anytime you're in the counter stick with the wind blowing and you stay around the ball, you got a chance for good plays, and that's what happened today.
Did it surprise you at all, Steve, that they flip-flop between Montana and Young?
Sure. Anytime you come in with Steve Young, he's very mobile, he's very fast, and if the pass isn't there, he can put it down and run it and get the first down. So we were aware of his speed and wanted to get people outside to contain him.
Is this the kind of game that if you go on and make something of this season, you're going to look back to the fourth quarter and the overtime as the season started right here?
Well, it's a team that has an awful lot of character, and I think we just added some of that. A team that's been to 2 Super Bowls, a team that's up against adversity, and right now we did what we had to do, and I think the character is still intact.
Hey, it's great to have you back, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Steve Wilson. Before we go, we want to talk very quickly. Don't go away yet. Just hang around. We want to talk very quickly to Mark Haynes. Congratulations. I thought your play in overtime started to turn the momentum around in your favor. Would you agree?
Well, I won't necessarily say my individual play. I just
Mark, I was trying to pump you up there.
Well, I just think defensively we maintained and we hung in there pretty tough and did what we were supposed to do.
This defense, obviously, right now is carrying this football team.
Well, we're just playing well. We carried over from the San Diego game, and we carried it until here against a very good offensive team, and we hung in there tough.
Thanks for coming by, and congratulations.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Mark Haynes. That's about it. I want to thank you once again, and let me ask you one thing before we run. Did that kick that missed, was it the wind or was it you?
I think it was Memorex. I suppose you want to ride home tonight, too.
I do. It makes no difference. Congratulations on
Thanks.
the kick, and best of luck next week.
So forget the one I missed. Just block that completely out of your mind.
Okay, there you go. That's the story, Les, from San Francisco.
It feels good to get in the end zone, and it was a crucial one for us. We needed to get it in there, but we're just thrilled to death with the win.
I thought it was at my back and it was left to right, and it really accentuated everything that I did on that kick.
I just felt if I could get to it, certainly the Broncos could win the game. It's a great game, a great situation. I think the win for some bad bounces is done.
Very often, and you don't want to depend on them.
We're going to look at this game as a morale lifter and realize that we can beat teams, that on the road and in their home stadium, and we'll play better at home, I think, from now on also.
It's the kind of game we needed to win, and everybody went out and played hard.
So with an overtime field goal. He also got the Broncos on the board the first time. They were trailing 3-0 in the second quarter when he hit the 27-yarder to make it a 3-3 game. Later in the second quarter, Joe Montana with a quarterback draw puts the Niners on top 10-3 with a 6-yard run. But the 49ers driving again in the first half, and it's Walt Boyer with the interception. Great catch for a defensive lineman right there, stopping the 49ers at the 15. Third quarter, John Elway continuing to have problems. Throws a terrible pass, intercepted by Keena Turner right there. But San Francisco failed to convert several times. One of them right here is Mike Kofer hits the right hand upright with a field goal attempt, keeping it a 10-3 game. Tough day for Elway also physically. Back to pass. Look at the shot he takes right on the chin from Ricky Ellison right there. He had to leave the game for a play, but did come back a couple of plays later to hit Vance Johnson with an 8-yard touchdown pass, ending a 10-quarter touchdown drought for the Broncos. It was 13-all. The Broncos had a chance to win it. Last play of the game, Rich Carlos misses a 34-yard field goal as time expires, but Steve Young has a pass tipped in OT, and it's Steve Wilson off the jobless list, gets back in and comes up with an interception, takes it down to the 5. It is then Rich Carlos with a 24-yard field goal to win it, and there was no question. It was a big win and felt especially good to Steve Wilson.
Anytime you come back and contribute in a positive way, you have to feel good. And this is the first time I played a regular season game or a playoff game here since 1981 with Dallas when Dwight Clark made the catch. So I think it's only right that this time I made the catch.
This is something for our team. I mean, the impact from it may not be felt for a while, but it was a critical win.
We beat a very good football team today and showed character on this team that we can come back through adversity and win one on the road.
This is the type of win that we needed. We need something. We've been hanging in there all year, and we've been hanging, and then we go into overtime. We have a chance to win it, and it doesn't work out. And we hang in there again. We go to overtime and give Rich another shot. Steve Wilson makes a big pick, and we just hung in there and got the win. So it's a beautiful win, but we just got to take them 1 week at a time, and we're back to 500. We're still in the hunt.
Broncos go to 3-3 with a 3-point win, but they're still